Hi, my name's ELH. I'm the game master here for Star Trek Euthenia. If this is your first time here, I guess hello. Welcome to our Star Trek Adventures actual play. Things you need to know. Basically, we've been doing this for quite a while as a group, and we have a good time here. Or at least we try to have a good time, and then Wolf says something funny, and then I break character, and then he breaks character. If you're a fan, you know what's coming. Announcement-wise, that first announcement is starting in January. I will be having a channel point big goal, which if you're not watching this on Twitch, basically that means that for Twitch viewers, you get channel points for as long as you're watching my stream, and there's going to be a big goal in January, and as collective group, you can contribute points to that goal. I don't want to spoil what the goal is quite yet, but what I would say is that you might want to be judicious about how much channel points you spend or not. Which, speaking of, it looks like you guys start with momentum today. There you go. Very nice. Other announcements. I think either this episode or the next session, it really depends on whether or not I can make the 21st. It's either going to be this session or the next session on the 21st that is going to be our season finale, which we will then take off the 28th and maybe come back the 4th, but at least by the 11th, worst case. So, yeah, look forward to Season 2 whenever that's coming out. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Let's get the players to introduce themselves, and then we're going to open a little bit differently than usual. So, Aaron, what you got?
Well, hi, I'm Aaron. I'm from Canada. I'm playing the captain.
Boo.
And Wolf, despite outward appearances, does actually like me quite a lot. Also, I'm also digging the Commander Sarus like stoner toque that you got going on there.
Yeah.
Toque is it's
Commander
fantastic.
Sarus. Oh no, I'm not supposed to do that. That's bad. All right, no, I'm just kidding.
Star Trek.
Oh, I gotta mark that on YouTube now.
Sarus. No, I'm done. I'm done.
It's not Fallout anymore.
Damn it.
I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. Oh, boo.
Hey.
Boo.
Nice.
Oh gosh, it's good to be back. I'm Watney. I play Commander Setko, the executive officer to Captain Williams on the Euthenia. She's an
Fired.
empath. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Yeah, I stream on Twitch, Doc Watney. You can find me there.
It's fantastic.
It's true.
Thank you.
True. You can buy pizza through Twitch. I just learned that. It's amazing. I'm Dag. I am Euthenia's resident Edosian Chief Medical Officer, Razib. It's been like 3 weeks, so you can tell we've got a lot of pent-up RP frustration in this chat right now. It's going to be a good one. And if you want to talk about it, hit me up wait till the end of the episode to find out.
No.
Nice.
Everybody, my name is Darewolf Gaming88 on Twitter and Twitch. I play Commander Sarus, the Cation Chief Science Officer. And you know what? Don't let Aaron fool you. I hate his guts.
Fair.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew. I play Vizeth, a Vergeron, and the Chief Security Officer. I'm a member of a species that is native to the area of the Delta Quadrant in which the Euthenia is lost. I'm also incredibly arrogant. That's me as a player, not as a character, but it's also to the character, so yeah. Take it or leave it.
Lord.
Let's be serious.
All right, well, as I said, we're going to start differently because we're immediately going to jump after that introduction. It's literally one of those hard cuts where we emerge into Euthenia's sickbay, and sickbay is in chaos. All of the biobeds are filled. Every space that can hold a patient, couches, chairs, office spaces have all been consumed or in use by sick patients. But we zoom in past all the biobeds, past all the offices, to the main operating theater, where Captain Williams is lying on the operating table with Razib and Stetko sort of looming over him and having a very, very important conversation.
Restrain him! Restrain him! The throes of the seizure are going to kill him anyway!
Razib, calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, it's the mixture has to be exactly perfect. You know how hard it is to get this right without a full team of doctors on here? This is incredible. We need to be able to get this whole fleet of Starfleet Medical to just approve an inoculation like this.
But we have to start with him now.
You have any idea what the risks are? There's 500 things that could happen to him. He could get Barclay's protomorphosis syndrome.
I don't care.
If the captain turns into a fly, it's not on me.
Razib,
but
calm down. Give yourself something for the nerves. Surely.
We don't expect
You have
that.
that.
Nope. Wait. I can't get a right scan. Hold on. Cortical functions are deteriorating. His cerebral cortex is demyelinating. We have to inject this now, but I can't do it right now.
You have to right now. Razib,
The
captain is out of commission. I am in charge of stewarding the Euthenia right now. I'm ordering you to treat him immediately.
I'm the chief medical officer. Your orders cannot bypass the needs of a crew, and this is important. It's the captain we're talking about here. I don't know if there's enough King Gundu.
Do it now, or I'll do it myself.
I cannot. Security, escort the first officer out of here.
She'll draw her phaser, point it squarely at him. Do it. Now.
And welcome back. And Captain, if you want to give your opening log from a few days prior to what just happened.
Sure. I've earned since our
You were muted there for a moment.
Oh, sorry. Want me to start again?
Yes, please.
All right. Take two. Captain's log, stardate 97293.9. The relative peace the crew have earned since our encounter with the Vergeron has been undermined by a growing crisis. Over the past several days, instances of an unknown illness have begun to appear aboard the Euthenia. Attempts to trace the source have failed, and Major Razib informs me that the disease is extremely virulent and can be deadly. At the current rate of infection, we'll run out of medical stasis pods within 7 days. Within 15, we'll be unable to sufficiently crew the ship to maintain minimal functionality. Within 30, we'll likely all be dead. Vizeth has knowledge of the disease and knows of a Class Y world in the area that may yield a solution. Time is short, so we're proceeding at maximum warp. Long-range scans show the planet's atmosphere is ionically charged, so I've ordered the Shikaris escorts to be prepped for the volatile conditions by the time we arrive. End log.
All right. You may have one momentum for that cold open and opening log. So again, we sort of jump back in time, and this time we slow fade into the bridge where Williams, you're in your chair. Razib, Stetko, you're behind him. Vizeth, you're there as well. Saras, I leave it to your determination whether you're off at the science station or in the main corridor. But at the moment, you guys are just coming out of warp in system where your destination planet is. And I think Dorothy, as you come out of warp, simply looks up at the view screen and goes, "Well, Captain, we seem to have arrived ahead of schedule. I coaxed the engineers to get us going a little bit faster than usual."
Well done. Standard orbit, please.
Very good. Though I do have one question. Sarus Vizeth, I thought you said this was a Class Y.
All long-range scans indicated as such.
Those
Aren't-
records of the planet also confirm that.
Aren't Class Y supposed to be like, I don't know, noxious and toxic and not harboring any life?
Genuinely hostile, yes.
So why do I see a forest? Why is it green? And you look on the view screen and she shifts the view. You're looking at a jungle world.
Commencing short-range scans, and I would like to scan the surface of the planet to try and get a better reading of its ecology. Is that the word? Yeah,
That's the right
the
word.
We're going to go with that.
All right, so you're going to give me a reason science. The Euthenia will assist you with a sensor science. The difficulty overall on this will be just a 1.
You know what? I'm going to
I
spend
have the
momentum.
ship.
I would like to spend a momentum, please.
Sure,
Because why not? You said reason science?
you got it.
What a time to be alive. 20.
I think you have sensor operation as a
I
focus.
do.
think.
I do. Why did my thingy disappear? There it is.
All right, so that's a grand total of 4 successes, meaning you get 3 momentum back, up to 4. So yeah, Soros, you can confirm that there is literally a jungle down there. What I would say, though, is, and this is going to be a weird reference, but everyone will hopefully get it, take the blue alien avatar jungle, mix it with the Amazon, and then make it about 3 times worse. And that's the kind of rainforest jungle world you're looking at. If you understand the 40K reference, Katachan is kind of what this is.
Captain, I am picking up scans that would indicate this planet is lush with life, but also some rather large life signatures as well. It could be dangerous.
Well, so's this disease if we can't treat it. I think we're going to have to risk it anyway. But he'll turn to Commander Stetko and say, I want all away teams fully armed.
Of course. Is the atmosphere breathable?
It is.
Yes.
What
All
about
right,
the
so we don't have
planets?
to worry about those measures. Sorry, Vizeth, what were you going to say?
I was simply wondering about the planet's orbit. Is it in keeping with the readings that we took on long-range sensors? Are we actually at the right planet?
A master, can that be my free question?
It can indeed, and Dorothy will answer in character. Yeah, I mean, it's the planet you gave us directions to, so yeah, I mean, it's where it should be.
Vizeth, how old are the readings of this planet in your culture?
They do come from an out-of-date archive that was appropriated by my vessel. However, the orbital period of a planet that has a demon-class environment should be radically different from that of an L-class world. They should be in different locations within a solar system.
How old are those records?
We retrieved them roughly 15 years ago.
So Russ would like to tighten his scans and search for power signatures on the planet.
You give me a momentum, I will answer that question.
Everybody cool with that?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, momentum.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, when you scan, what you're detecting is that the ionic interference that will prevent you from using transporters does appear to have a power source coming from somewhere underneath the surface. Unfortunately, you can only localize it to the northern hemisphere, but there is a power source that is generating the ionic field in question.
Captain, I am picking up some sort of power reading. It is below the surface, and I am unable to specify its origin or source, but for sure there is some sort of power reading, and it is massive. Vizeth, where did you say on the planet these flowers or these fireweeds were located?
I did not have knowledge of their precise location, and given that the entire topography of the world has changed and it is now covered with apparently flora and fauna, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
This means that we change our scanning signatures from macro life forms to the microproteins that we need to process secure for this plague.
Is it possible that this world is in the process of being terraformed?
Dorothy
Forgive
goes
me.
to say something about that real quick, and then you noticeably notice her mouth clamps shut, and Captain, on your chair, little window pops up that says Captain's eyes only.
You have got to be kidding. And he'll bring it up on the ARM console.
You're probably guessing what I'm about to say, but if sensors are correct, you're looking at a Rogue Genesis device.
Oh, come on.
But, qualifying here, it's not the Federation's Genesis device. But it is a Genesis device.
Major Razib, Commander Stetko, Mr. Vaseth, Russ, can I see you all in my ready room for a moment?
Right away.
Of course, Captain.
Got to the ready room. Get the tokens sorted out here. Dorothy, you're not quite there yet, so go away. Alright, so yeah, let me grab everybody. You can continue the scene as I throw tokens on board.
And I think, yeah, Williams will just go and sort of sit behind his desk and sort of rub his eyes. Have Vizeth, perhaps you haven't heard of this, likely not. But for all the Starfleet personnel in the room, it looks like this planet's been terraformed in a process similar to the Genesis experiments of the 23rd century.
Are there any instabilities in the planetary matrix?
Dorothy?
Dorothy appears. Honestly, it's a little weird to parse, but as far as I can tell, it's completed the process. Whatever that means.
Dorothy, can you run the odds down on whether or not the consumption and reconfiguration of this planet's topography has, for lack of a better term, erased our cure?
She kind of looks down. Ari's flick back and forth a few times. I do have a probability, sir, but you're not going to like it.
More than 0?
Hit me.
Well, based on the fact that we're dealing with a Genesis-like device which can terraform any planet into any Class M, Class L, chances are bordering on the 85, 86, 87.3% that this fireweed we've come to get has either evolved to a point where it's no longer useful or has been eliminated through natural selection.
To what end does somebody terraform a planet?
That is a very simple answer, Commander. For to live there, or to use its resources.
Means if we haven't found a species doing that yet, we may want to increase sensor range. There could be a fleet on the way.
Are there any structures on the planet that would not be organic? Any kind of buildings?
Did my scans pick up anything like that, GM?
Absolutely no. You didn't see any structures, any man-made or artificial structures in general.
And I would say no.
So Russ, do you know perhaps a resource from this method that one could
being
Go on.
consumed by a cat.
What would be the most valuable resource from this planet, just based on perhaps your sensors? Like, why would somebody terraform this? What benefits would they reap resourcefully? Like, what could they be trying to get to?
That is a question that has a very complicated answer. And candidly speaking, I do not have the information to give you a proper answer. It could be wood, it could be the animals of the planet, it could be a plant similar to the one we are searching for, but without knowing the species that created this Genesis device, it would be simple conjecture if I was to give you an answer.
Moment. I would like to prioritize searching for and hopefully finding something here that can help us with this cure. Mr. Vizeth, if you might be able to share anything else you know about the database, particularly the ecology that this species was known to thrive, we might be able to find several locations on this world that are meaningful.
In the radical transformation of the, matrix of the planet itself, there are likely few places where this fireweed could continue to grow. However, it strikes me as a possibility that whomever it was that terraformed this planet may have known of its value, or at least have collected biological samples of the original life forms that were indigenous to this world before terraforming it. If I understand the process involved in this Genesis device or its analog, the presence of biological material might have disrupted its matrices. In other words, it might have disrupted the terraforming process itself. If so, they would have removed the indigenous life forms. They may have a store of fireweed left.
Captain, I would suggest we travel towards the direction of or at least when we make our landing, of where I picked up the power source, near the northern hemisphere of the planet. Perhaps, as Vizeth says, if the creators of this device stored underground, or I just believe that would be our best case and best chance of finding this fireweed.
I agree. And perhaps, just as Major Razib said, set your tricorders to search for the specific protein chains that we need rather than the plant itself. It's possible that this fireweed, if it was consumed in the Matrix, maybe it still exists in large concentrations in new plants in the Matrix, or even new animals if there are any.
Only hope that the selectional pressures have existed to produce at least a similar evolutionary analog.
Also, Captain, to correct you, there definitely are animals, and they are rather large.
Well,
and Dorothy, for effect, conjures up a hollow image. You're looking at a Stegosaurus, basically. It's that big. But it's not your average Stegosaurus. Right. Imagine a combination between a Stegosaurus, a rhinoceros, and a bison. It's this hellish combination of bulk and muscle and horns and phalanges on the back. It's very spiky, very deadly looking.
All right, but just answer me one thing, Dorothy. Just tell me there are no velociraptors down there.
Well, there are raptors, sir, but not classical Terran velociraptors.
Okay, but all right.
So Russ is gonna send a image to Dorothy to appear, and I imagine it's like a bird pterodactyl, like koala bear monster that kind of looks like an owl bear with wings, but it's got like a furry face of a koala, but then it opens its mouth and it's just like 3 sets of razor sharp teeth. And so Russ will say, I call this one Locodocus.
Right. Well, maybe when you all get back, I can tell you about the time that I had to hunt a velociraptor through the Jeffries tubes on the Fenrir.
Sounds like a delightful story, Captain. Yes, please.
No, it was not delightful at all.
That one
wasn't delightful, not at all. I got bit a lot.
I'm going to spend that evil powers from earlier. Captain, you sneeze.
Oh.
Excuse me.
And when you look at your hand, a little bit of blood, just a little bit.
You all should probably go.
Are you feeling okay, sir?
Razib is immediately like in his face.
Well, I was up until about a second ago. I'm beginning to experience a headache and a slight sense of vertigo.
Razib, what's the progression of this again? How long does it take?
The onset of symptoms produce blood in the sputum. We have about 15 hours before, well, if I can get you into stasis in the next 8 hours, you'll be okay.
Well,
But in the meantime, I can give you something for the vertigo and the headache.
just suppress the symptoms for now, for as long as you can. The priority is not getting me into stasis. The priority is finding a cure for everyone.
Well, you are part of everyone, sir. And Razib will do a wideband scan of everybody else in the room to detect if the virus is present in anybody else.
Go ahead and give me a reason medicine difficulty of 2 on this one. And I think you have infectious diseases or something along those natures as a focus.
Emergency medicine?
Not, I mean, it is technically an emergency, but not in the emergency medicine sense.
Well, I am a quick study,
Quick study would actually apply here, yeah.
and I'm bold, so I will give you, is it 2 threat for an additional dice?
1 threat.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 3. And a quick study, I'm ignoring the difficulty increase, but I'm acknowledging I don't have an applicable
All right,
focus.
so the difficulty comes down to a 1.
And I'm going to re-roll that 0.
All right, that's already 2 successes. Let's see if you can crit fish or get another one.
That's just D20, all right.
Mm-hmm. And that is significant. So that's a total of 3 successes on difficulty 2, which means you're up to max momentum by my count. So the good news, everybody in the room is, well, aside from Williams, doesn't show any signs of infection. However, you are noticing in the ship's atmosphere that some of the, shall we say, protein chains that are indicative of the virus, they're being basically vented throughout the ship by now.
Well, I guess there's no sense in completely quarantining as the virus is already in the vent tubes.
Time is of
really
the
is.
essence.
Agreed.
We need to get to the hangar, take our shuttles down to the planet. Saras, Vizeth, Razib will be going. I think we'll have Lieutenant Varel fly us.
Andrew, if I may, I would like to suggest something.
Sure.
Given that the species that has terraformed this planet is likely to arrive at some point to claim their new prize, should we not establish a cap around the ship? Some of our vessels can be used to maintain a combat air patrol, while others execute the search on the planet.
Sir, I'll leave that up to you. You likely would elect to stay here.
I'm sorry, what?
Dorothy kinda leans in.
Combat air patrol. For now, we'll just have the fighters on standby. I don't want to appear provocative. Dorothy, as soon as anything gets within range of the long-range sensors, I want you to hail them and notify me immediately.
I can do that, sir. Shall I escort you to sickbay?
And
No.
I'm going to put up a live feed of your vitals to the sick bay. The doctors there will have a keen interest in maintaining your health. However, I would also recommend that we deploy a medical buoy that will broadcast on all frequencies. Our intentions are purely scientific and medical, and
Perhaps a warning beacon, too. notify any passersby that the ship is infected.
Yes.
Dorothy just kind of snaps her fingers and she reports, buoys away.
Well, everybody, you know your jobs. Let's snap to it, shall we?
All right. So we do a quick little shot where you guys run into the hangar bay, board the Shikaris escort, launch it out of the hangar bay, the left side, we'll say the port side hangar bay. At the same time as the Shikaris escort you're flying takes the lead, the other Shikaris escort that you have on hand launches out of the starboard hangar bay, and your shuttle or your escort angles toward the northern hemisphere. The other Shikaris goes towards the southern hemisphere, and the camera moves to follow your shuttle down. Now, I'm not going to require a roll here to land the shuttle because there's no atmospheric conditions that would really be a problem. But what I will require is from... Let's have our supporting character, Varel. Varel, if you could give me just a standard D100, please. And this is going to flavor more or less your starting luck of where you land.
All right, standard D100.
All right, well, the 50's right on the money, actually. So the good news is, Varel, when you shut the Shikaris escort down, you managed to find a somewhat medium clearing. The Shikaris escort fills most of the space, and all around you are tall redwood-like trees with vines hanging from them, little raptor-like monkey bird things kind of scurrying between the tree branches. There's to your right, to the northeast, there is a small waterfall that is being fed by a stream, and after confirming that the atmosphere is breathable, etc., and you step out into the space, what you smell is the overpowering sense of vanilla, as in like vanilla extract or vanilla flavoring, etc., to the point that I'm going to say, Sir Russ, it is not crippling, but for someone like you, it is aggravating, I think is a fair way to put it.
Sir Russ's whiskers and his ears are flicking back and forth very agitatedly, but he does not complain about it.
That is repugnant. Oh.
As he is stepping out of the shuttlecraft, Vizeth is going to just survey the scene critically and then walk back in, and if the group is amenable to it, I'd like to spend the escalation cost necessary to get Type 3 phaser rifles for the entire crew. So then he's going to go up to the weapons locker and begin removing them. Looks over at the away team. Given the fauna on this planet, I believe it would be wise for all of us to be armed. And he'll just start handing them out.
Once everybody's out, gotten equipped with Type 3s, and you're all kind of fanning out from the escort, I'm going to spend some threat here, because as you're sort of taking away the land, remember those monkey raptor-like creatures that I said were going between the branches? Almost like the movie Birds, where they just fill power lines and roof structures. You look up and there's literally swarms of these things. They're all looking at you.
Commander? What do we do?
Don't move.
So Russ, you sneeze.
Achoo!
And the raptor monkeys begin throwing rocks at all of you.
So Stucco would try and find kind of like a hidden area away from them nearby.
Okay.
Probably had done some maybe initial look for maybe what direction to go in, and would kind of head in that direction.
Give me a reason con here, difficulty of 2.
Reason?
And if you have escape and avoidance, yes.
I don't.
Oh.
That was my other character.
What's up, Wolf? You got something. What's up?
Yeah, so Russ would like to, if I may, take a recording of the sounds they're making. I would like to run it through the scanner to try and pick up on the intonations that are aggravated, and then running a quick computer algorithm, try to find a counter to the aggravation, something that would sound more cooing or happy, and then play it back through the recorder or through the tricorder and try and calm them down.
Gotcha.
Is
I'm not
this
going to
a
have you roll.
con?
Or go ahead, Steko.
What am I rolling? Presence?
You're rolling a reason con.
Oh,
difficulty
reason
of
con.
2.
Okay, that's what I had. Okay.
As for you, Sir Russ, what I'm going to say is I'm not going to have you roll for it per se, but it is something where I will make a note that you are working on that. Because it's going to take some time. All right, so I'm going to say with only 1 success on that Steko, since it was difficulty 2, you run towards the waterfall en masse, and you realize that there actually is no cave behind the waterfall like you initially suspected.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this now pushes you up against the bank of the waterfall as some of the raptor monkeys are beginning to jump down and encircle you. To use another reference, it's like the white killer rabbit in Monty Python, but more vicious looking. They're just almost tens, if not hundreds of these things just slowly creeping towards you with jittery eyes and clicking mandibles, and just Sarus is pounding away trying to find that soothing sound.
We could fire a wide beam, relatively low stun, maybe level 7, level 8. Maybe enough to drive them off.
There is no need to fire. Just give me another moment. Boop, 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 boop.
Steko is setting her phaser while he's doing this.
Did he just call me ensign?
Now's not the time, Lieutenant.
And what I would say is now, Sarus, I will have you roll. I'm going to tell you up front, it's a very difficult roll. You're looking at a difficulty of 5. It is a daring and a science. And yeah.
I have empathy.
Empathy, ironically, would apply here. Yeah.
I'd like to use empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said, let's hear that, and science. And I would like to give you a threat. And I would like to spend all of our momentum to roll 5 dice.
Roll 5
You
dice.
guys are cool with that. I just want to get weird.
All right. Let's see what happens.
And then I can reroll 1 if I need to. Yeah, I think we'll see what happens. We'll see how I do. It's not great.
That's not great. No. In fact, I don't even think with a reroll that success is possible here.
Nope. I tried. I failed.
Yeah.
You know what? I let you guys down and I burned all our momentum. Super sorry.
Hey, it happens. Besides, failure's fun.
Beautiful.
Failure's fun. So, Sarus, what I'm going to say then is as you type in.
Flavor this slightly.
Yeah, what you got? What you got?
Okay, so this is like, I figured it out, and it lets out this, and then all the animals will stop, and I'll be like, I did it, and then they all start screeching more aggressively. It's like, I didn't do it.
That's actually where I was going to go, so we were of same mind there. So we are actually going to enter into combat here, because we haven't done ground combat in quite a while with this group. As a reminder, the way it works is it's going to go between player, enemy, but since this is a little bit weird, basically what's going to happen is there are enough of these raptor monkeys that they will automatically hit you in melee combat, and you will be taking stress damage basically every turn. As a reminder, your stress resets at the beginning of every scene, so right now you should be at full stress, or lack thereof, whichever way you're tracking it. And if you take 5 or more damage in a single attack, you are considered injured. Another thing I should tell you is that there are enough of these things on the ground that you could just shoot in any direction and you would hit enough of them. And we're not going to be tracking damage per monkey raptor. We're just going to be using that damage as a metric of how many of the swarm you handle at a time. So everybody more or less on the same page at this point? All right. In that case, it is the player's turn first. Who would like to act first?
Me. I'll go.
All right. Yeah, Steko, what you got?
So she would take her type 2.
Well, you have a type 3 if you want it, because Vizeth is
Is it type 3 they're what Dag's holding?
Yes.
Again, I'm a great security officer.
Phaser
rifle. I'll take a phaser rifle and set it to like a somewhat wider beam
area.
Not like full area, but like enough to kind of make a sweeping motion.
A cone, yeah, I gotcha.
A cone, if you will, in front of her. She'll be like pulling them off her, just like.
All right. Well, again, as I said, there's no need for you to roll here because you are going to hit them. What is your security score?
Gotta be pretty
It
good.
is 5.
Then you're going to roll me 9 challenge dice here.
Okay.
All right. That actually with 8 effects, or 8 with 4 effects, yeah, you make the aforementioned cone and you almost like carve a path through them, as the ones in the path don't drop over dead, but they definitely drop over stunned heavily. But it's one of those things where as soon as you're like, oh yeah, made progress, more of them just fill in the gaps, almost stepping over the bodies of their brethren. And the way it's going to work is each time one of you moves, that's how I'm going to determine who gets injured, at least for this first round. Round 2 onwards, I will be basically rolling to see who gets the fun times. But yeah, Stetko, you're going to suffer a grand total of... Oh dear. You're going to be suffering 7 stress. So technically you are injured as a bunch of these raptor monkeys jump up onto your shoulders, jump up onto your hands, start clinging to your legs, and just start gnashing, biting into the cloth, biting into the muscle and flesh. So the way injuries work, as a reminder, you can opt to spend, since you don't have any momentum, you can give me 2 threat, and you can ignore that injury. Or avoid that injury. Sorry. Ignoring an injury and avoiding are different.
If she's injured, it's just like she's not knocked out, like out of combat, right?
She's out of the fight.
You're out of the fight.
She's out of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can have the threat.
Okay. So yeah, knock yourself down to half stress. And yeah, you are...
That's on my sheet, right? That's
yeah, those are the bubbles on your sheet. Or if you're on your
okay.
token, it's the blue bar, and you can modify that, and it should sync up.
Keep it on my sheet.
All right, so Stetko's getting swarmed. Who'd like to go next?
I suppose Vizeth will go next. And
All right,
again,
Vizeth,
setting
what do you
his phaser to wide beam.
Mm-hmm.
I almost want to go lethal.
Lethal would require a point of threat, but you could do it.
I know, but that just seems like something that he would do. So yes, he is actually going to go lethal.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. Well, again, there's enough of them that you'll hit, and if you do enough damage, you will lethally injure these things. Just give me your security score plus 4 challenge dice.
I'm a Starfleet officer, but
Yeah, with 8. Yeah, so this time, when you fire Vizeth, the raptor monkeys you put down stay down, unmoving. And what I would say is that the ranks don't fill in quite as rapidly. As in, there's a little bit of hesitance, a little bit of wariness coming from the swarm itself. But, as you did just shoot them, they are once again going to do the same to you. So, same deal, 4 challenge dice. Let's see how you're doing. I believe you also are going to take an injury unless you have resistance to something.
I believe I have any resistance now.
All right, then you're going to take 5 stress damage, and would you like to give me 2 threat to ignore the injury?
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess I do. I do have to give you that.
All right. All right, well, up next, who's going to be our lucky winner number 3?
Yeah, and I'll do it. The Lieutenant Varel, the friggin' red shirt down here is just gonna. Let's see what happens. All right, yeah.
Oh my god.
Varel's gonna just try to wide beam stun as many of these things as he can.
Okay. And again,
so
it's your security core. Security score plus 4.
All right. Perfect. Security score plus 4. So that's going to be a 6.
All right, 5 is significant. And again, area effect is, just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, you stun. And by now, what I would say is that the ranks are starting to thin just a little bit, but there's still enough of them that they are going to mob you in your moment of weakness, quote unquote. So if I could stop rolling hot and killing my characters, that would be great. But okay, there you go, Varel. You're only taking 3. You're good.
Okay.
You're good. All right. Who's up next?
I would like
Razib or Sarus at this point.
I would like to go.
Sure.
Razib is going to put his tricorder on a wide field scan and run their vitals through a program that's going to produce a hypersonic emission. And if the tricorder detects that they're experiencing distress as it ranges through the spectrum of hypersonics, it will focus on that tone and increase the magnitude.
Okay.
Try to do a wide range hypersonic pulse to blow out their eardrums.
Fun. I'm going to say this is going to be a daring medicine, and it's going to be a difficulty of 3. But if you do it, you might have a lot of success here.
Does this count as an improvised weapon?
I mean, I guess it could. Do you have a talent that matters?
I have improvised weapon fighting as a focus.
You know what? I'll allow it.
And I'm gonna. Can I use a value here?
Yeah, for determination. What you got?
No, I am a soldier. Never mind. Measure twice, cut once.
Okay, yeah, I'll let it happen. So you'll start off with 2 free successes, meaning you just need to roll me a 1.
I'm going to do 2d20 plus a focus.
I would recommend not rolling complications here.
So would I.
All right, there you go. You got the opposite of complications. You have a grand total of 5 successes, getting you 2 momentum back. And yeah, this time, Razib, you send out that hypersonic pulse, and when it does, about half of the swarm immediately turns tail and flees into the forest, into the jungle around you. So, Razib, you're actually not going to get attacked. The creatures are afraid of you, which means it's now Sarus's turn.
Razib will shout, "Sorry, Commander! It was my first thought."
The commander will match what he's doing on his tricorder and help create a wider field of effect.
Okay. So since you're copying what he did, it's going to be a control in medicine, and the difficulty is going to come down to probably just a 2 on this one. And you do have 2 momentum as a reminder.
I'll spend 1.
All right.
I don't think I have a focus on this.
Probably not, unfortunately.
I did it.
But you got your 2 you needed. There you go. So yeah, at this point, there's only the swarm that is on Stetko, Vrel, and Vizeth. The other creatures have all fled, but the ones that are latched onto your fellow crew are, shall we say, very determined.
But we'll start clawing and ripping them off his friends.
Okay.
He's tired of these spider monkey assholes.
I was just holding up the pulse and I just walk over to them.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to do that. So let me know what you're doing. Are you going to rip them off, or are you going to sonic them off?
We'll sonic.
Tear.
We'll sonic.
I'll do
it is
like
done.
She's certainly doing a combination of this. Like, she's definitely trying to get them
Major
off.
Razib, might I say, that was a brilliant use of the tricorders. The complete opposite of what I was trying to do, but significantly more effective. Well done, my friend.
Thank you, Commander. Commander Stetko, can you get over here? And Razib is trying to make it over to the commander as well.
And what I would say is that the 2 of you working together can free 2 people here, but 1 person is still going to be taking that damage at the end of this turn.
Commander and the lieutenant first. No offense, Vizeth. You can handle yourself, right?
Absolutely, yes.
He's a superior life form.
Ah, this is true. He does like saying it. All right, Vizeth, well, you're only going to take another 2 stress of damage before the rest can come over to you and free you from your, shall we say, organic shackles, as it were. But as the last of the spider monkey raptors scurry into the forest, and you're left there, some of you with bite marks and gashes and ripped uniforms, I'm actually going to spend some threat that you hear in the distance a loud thump, and then another large thump, and it's getting closer and closer and closer.
Commander, do you remember back inside of the captain's ready room, that large creature that Dorothy turned into?
One with the thagomizer?
That's the one. There are several moving towards us. Rather slowly, but fast enough to where I am worried.
This planet is trying to kill us.
Are they friendly? Or at least indifferent?
We need to get a signal on those proteins. Where do we go so we can get out?
Let me focus on the signal for the proteins. Lieutenant Burrell, I believe that we should secure the shuttle. If those things see it as some kind of hostile, it may try to attack it and remove our only chance of getting out of here.
We could simply use the shuttlecraft to destroy them. It is armed.
However, you see fit to employ that.
That's a little heavy-handed. These are living creatures.
And sort of gesturing towards or like picking at the threads of his uniform that have been shredded. And you see the bloody scratches across his body are already starting to close up. He just looks at you, glaring clearly. Are you a fool?
Are you a psychopath?
What an odd question.
Let me appeal to your sense of timeliness. We don't have time for this.
Thump.
Into the shuttle we go. We'll shoot them.
I'm glad you made the noise because the noise I was going to make was not going to be fun.
She's like going for the shuttle now and hoping they're following because she's going to power those guns up.
Or we get a copyright strike.
We'll get in the shuttle.
All right. Now, my important question is, do you take off fully? Do you just, kind of lift off just enough that you can turn the ship and hover, use it like a hover tank? Like, what is the process here?
To the commander.
Like the hover tank idea.
Sure. Not too far off the ground, but to allow for maneuverability.
Commander, if we go above the canopy, we may be able to use the shuttle sensors to augment our own ability to find these protein chains.
Finally, somebody's thinking like a doctor.
What I would say
we could escape them that way. What would you say, GM?
What I would say is that when you do lift off up to the canopy, because it sounds like what you're going to do, when you lift up from the ground and get just out of reach, those Stegosaurus, bison, rhinoceros things, they do come into the clearing like a stampede, but they don't like stop. They just kind of go through the clearing, not even giving the sky ship the time of the day. They just kind of rumble past, as it were.
Oh, perhaps a migratory pattern.
Do they appear to be running from something, Game Master? Or is this
They
just
do.
a natural? Ah, excellent.
Oh,
I want
great.
to scan in the direction of their devastation for something else.
So I'd like you to imagine a shark combined with a T-Rex combined with a killer whale.
And there it is. All right.
Yeah. But it has like black, scaly, mottled flesh. It has 2 sets of jaws. It's got reptilian eyes. It's very sleek and sinuous. And you see it before you really need to scan it because it's large enough to poke its head over the treetop. But this thing, big. And it's coming right for you.
Permission to open fire, Commander?
Aye.
All right. So, Vizeth, you're going to be rolling a control security, and the Shikaris escort will assist you with a weapons security. The difficulty on this is a 2. Important question, are you being lethal?
For these creatures, I mean, like, she wouldn't default to that. But
I mean, unless you ordered him otherwise,
okay.
or you saw him actually
Never
inputting
mind.
if you saw him at the tactical controls, he's going to be inputting a lethal firing pattern.
Okay, she won't stop him.
Okay.
She won't.
Augmented ability control.
Would definitely apply. All right, that's a total of 5 successes, so you actually get 3 momentum back. And yeah, go ahead, and I believe the Shikara's escort should have weapons in its profile. Let's see what we got here, so we're looking at it together. It looks like you're going to be rolling a grand total of, what is this? 5 damage, yeah. 5 challenge dice. And that is enough with the piercing effect. Vizeth, I'm going to let you flavor it. It's going to die because it's a lethal injury. How does it go down?
I think it's a series of pinpoint and precise strikes that lance out at its chest and essentially target its vital organs that have been detected through the sensor scans offered by Commander Saras. So it's not hyper-aggressive, it's not excessive, it's just surgical in its precision.
Clean, quick, goes down quickly.
So Russ would like to scan that giant shark thing for the proteins we need.
That's actually what was going to be my next questions, and not going to require a roll here. Yeah, those that T-Rex thing, it's got the protein sequences you want, but you're not going to like where they are.
I have to pull.
Where are they, Game Master?
Well, they're not up its butt. If you were thinking up its butt,
darn it!
I was thinking down its gullet. Like
that's actually where it is.
mouth.
It's in one of its third stomachs.
Oh, that's
One of its third stomachs?
Can we?
Wow.
I don't want to know in the whale sort of situation here. I'm not about that life.
And I think at the sort of downing of this thing, Varel is going to turn to Viseth and go, that was a calculated, precise blow worthy of my ancestors.
Thank you.
I hated my ancestors. They were cold, ruthless, heartless things.
Survive, one must be. The only reason that you're here is because of their brutality or their precision.
Steve is going to tap into the shuttle's sensors to see if he can detect if scavengers are quickly approaching this and how much time we might have before the body is completely turned into food.
Where is its third stomach located? We can use the ship's phasers to cut it out.
Inside.
I would say that you've got 5 minutes at best based on the amount of fauna that you're detecting in the area.
Oh, it's just like the carrion feeders are just moving in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like those scarab beetles.
I
wonder,
How?
GM, is there any way that we can use the ship's shields themselves to perhaps repel, or even the deflector, to repel the animal life that is approaching it to try to feast upon it?
Give you more time? You certainly can attempt it, yes. That would be a control security. The ship would assist you with a structure security. The difficulty on this would be a 3.
Could Varel also assist him with an engineering check?
If you tell me what exactly it is you're doing in additional to the help.
Maybe tie the shield emitters through the main deflector to increase the range of the sort of shield bubble.
Sure.
Since this thing is so large. So would that be control engineering or daring engineering?
I'll give you control engineering. I feel like this is a very easy thing for an engineer to do. And remember, on an assist, you're rolling just the 1 die.
Yes.
I have the Shikara's escort. Did you say it was structure security?
I did indeed, yep.
And it was control security difficulty what?
Difficulty of 3.
Dang, you got 3 successes already.
Yeah, already. So all you have to do is roll 1 for those 3 to count. All right, wow, okay. All right, that is a total of, I can math, 6 successes, so you get 3 momentum. I mean, you actually have a momentum floating, if it matters. But yeah, I imagine you bring the Shikara's escort right over the top of this T-Rex thing's corpse. There's a little flicker of light as the shields create a bubble around the corpse, and we even see some of those spider raptor monkey things come running up and bounce against the shield comically, but they're not able to get in, so they just sort of start forming like a circular pattern, almost like a pacing wolf, like a hungry wolf, around where this shuttle bubble is.
Wolf. I would like to spend that floating momentum if we can, or suggest the use of the Seth to create the advantage that the shuttle is close to where the readings of the third stomach are, and that some of the carrion monkeys actually started chewing in that area, which will make it easier for us to get to it.
Yeah. It would be the floating momentum and one additional
one
because
extra.
it's two per, but yeah, I think that's a good
Perfect.
spend. And I'll tell you
And
what,
as
even
that-
for... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, as the shield bubble activates, what is it? Varel? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Varel is making the appropriate calibrations, yoking the deflector dish to the shield generator. Vizeth is going to look over at him, perform a motion that is sort of the equivalent of arcing a brow, even though he doesn't have eyebrows or a protruding forehead like humans do. And then just say, well, clearly your brutish ancestors passed on some effective gene stock. Excellent work.
Thank you.
Raziv is just going to take stock of what's happening in the shuttle, seeing Vizeth and Varel focused on maintaining the shield bubble, and he'll look over at Commander Stedko. Commander, if I may ask for your assistance, I believe we need to perform a little bit of phaser surgery on this thing.
Happy to assist, Doctor.
I'd caution you against unnecessary incisions. The ionic interference in the atmosphere is making balancing the power requirements of this very excessive. Please be
I'm
precise.
Looking for a little payback, Lieutenant.
Any amount of depth we can get with the phasers before they go offline will be very helpful if I have to go down there with a knife.
I don't think
I'd
it'll cause
want
that,
to make
Doctor.
Major Razib go down with a knife, almost like with the...
In his teeth, just
Yeah, just classic Arnold in the jungle, yeah. Oh,
Would it
he's
not
got a
simply be
prop for
possible
this. Of
for you to
course he has
use-
a prop for this.
The phaser rifle?
I think he's going for like a prop knife, I think. Oh, no. Yeah, there it is. There it is, yep.
is it the is that a prop ductog?
No,
Oh, still good. Still
Yeah.
really that's a
Beautiful.
that's a malicious
That's
looking
a
knife.
knife.
That's not a knife.
That's a
That's a
spoon.
knife.
the cookery's in the other room. Sorry.
I see you played knifey spoony before.
I don't want to know what knifey spoony is at all.
That's my favorite game.
Oh, geez.
Sorry, but
Well,
Lads down at the pub.
as you all are performing knifey spoony on this creature, I think that's where we're going to take our 5 to 10 minute break, and we'll be back shortly, so stick around. All right, welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of session 9 of Star Trek Euthenia. If you're just joining us, basically the characters have arrived at a death world and or a, shall we say, very, very hazardous to non-indigenous life jungle hell, wherein
planet.
they were immediately attacked by spider, monkey, raptors, took a few injuries, and then they shot a shark, T-Rex, killer whale in the face and are now extracting its stomachs. And that's where we resume. I'm not actually going to have you roll to extract the stomachs because you have created the shield bubble and you have the time to do this. However, what I am going to say is that Vizeth and Razib, as you two are working together to cut out the stomachs, either using the ship's phasers or the phaser rifles, I'll let you decide which, you are noticing a steady power draw or power loss coming from the ionic field from that power source, which is somewhere to the north of you.
The ionic field that we detected is reducing in intensity. Is that what you're
Russ
saying?
will immediately make a scan of the wider area to see if it is negatively impacting the fauna and the life here.
The flora and fauna, no, but what you are noticing is that the ionic effect is causing a storm to form. So if the fauna wasn't bad enough already, you've got an ionic storm brewing on the horizon.
How much time do we have?
You have about an hour before you need to bug out of here.
Razib is like, well, I'm not going to stick around for this. And he opens a repelling hatch and strips it onto his own harness. And he'll look forward and say, Commander Stetko, do you think you can use the phasers to dig deep in there and I'll do the rest by hand?
I think I could help. So she'll join him and sort of get ready to go.
All right. So in that case, what I would say is that unless you want to make a roll of it, I mean, you already have the 5 momentum, and I don't think a complication here would add anything to the story. So we can just say that you two are cutting away, getting the stomachs out. But what is Varel, Sarus, and Vizeth doing while they're working?
I would like to investigate the nature of the ionic field that is draining our power. Is there any way that we could, I don't know, modulate the shields so as to mitigate its effects, or gain any information about how it's impacting our systems?
Why don't you give me an insight security difficulty of 2?
I will spend 1 momentum.
Okay, down to 4.
And experimental weapon systems?
I'll give it to you, yeah. Three successes, which means you get that momentum right back. So, Vizeth, you've seen this signature before. Specifically, it's of a species that you thought was eradicated over 100 years ago. The name you can either make up or I can give you one, but to your knowledge, they shouldn't exist anymore.
And Vizeth then will just tap his comm badge. Commander Stetko.
Yes, go ahead.
I've run scans on the energy signature of the ionic dampening field that we have encountered on this planet. I believe we are dealing with the remnants of a species that my race exterminated over 100 years ago.
Interesting. Well, we should check it out. I think we might have time. Things are moving along pretty swiftly here.
It is possible that the energy signal that we have detected could be some kind of a lifeboat. Perhaps they have preserved some of their species and the flora and fauna of one of their worlds genetically, and have used it to repopulate this planet, or at least intend to.
So you're saying that the scans you originally had that were about 15 years old were from a time when your species had eradicated them. And so they kept themselves behind somehow and then re-terraformed. Is that the suggestion?
It's merely conjecture.
Fair.
We would need to investigate to find out.
I think we should. Maybe we can help.
Sir, not to interject, but if we do that, there could be a potential for conflict if Vizeth is seen by them as a member of the race that attempted genocide on their people.
Also, more importantly, not to interject as well, we have an entire crew of sick people we need to get back and help. That should be our top priority.
Right. We had multiple shuttles come down to the planet, so perhaps we could send the fire. Is it fireweed, TM?
Well, it was fireweed pre-Genesis device. It's more like fire stomach now.
Fire gut.
Fire gut, yeah.
Fire gullet.
We'll send the proteins back up to the Euthenia and for analysis, and then we can go check out this signal.
I would, of course, recuse myself from this portion of the mission if you believe that to be wise.
I think you can handle yourself well, Vizeth. I won't police you in this regard.
Commander, I'm just now finishing up the removal of the final piece of connective viscera. I believe I'll be able to get this back up to the shuttle. Why don't you take my phaser and head back up? I will follow.
Sounds good. She'll take any equipment he needs back up and make sure he's all set before she kind of
He will finish cutting out the rest of the viscera, and he will attach a sort of a cool little futuristic handle grapple onto it, and then he'll tug twice on the line.
Back up into the ship with the knife in your stick. I love it.
Oh, he's going deeper. Are you going deeper?
No.
Oh, you're going up. Okay. Right.
Probably shouldn't have that in your mouth. You have 3 arms.
We're not going to talk about phrasing here.
It's holding something.
Okay.
Phrasing. I'm just saying.
It's holding the stomach.
So here's a logistics question real quick. So you have the stomachs in your employ. You still need to do the medical mumbo-jumbo to make it work for a cure. If I understand correctly, Razib, you're going to go on the other shuttle back up while the rest of the people investigate this power source? Or are you going to go to the power source now? Like, where is Razib in all of this?
So Razib will say he needs, let's assume it's been 5 or 6 hours since we've been down here having to deal with all this. Razib will say that he needs, 90 minutes to concoct a cure, and he's got all the medical stuff that he needs on the shuttle to do that. So they just need to be back on the ship in sickbay in 90 minutes, or Captain Williams is going to have a bad rest of his life. However, when he gets pulled up into the shuttle, you'll see that he is, well splattered with Sharkosaurus fluids, and stuff. And so he'll get back aboard, and he'll just immediately steal away to the little medical console and start, taking samples out of the thing and running them into, processors and those kinds of cool things.
Stecca will hand him a towel.
His third arm will grab it and sort of dab at his face, and then chuck it away and grab a hypo and start, just going to town. We need to titrate that, put that in a gyroscope. We can separate the fluids here. If I dump the power cell from this phaser into that doohickey, that'll give us enough power to run the resequencing. And okay. And if I network these tricorders together, I can increase the resequencing efficiency by 72%. And he's just blithering on.
Mm-hmm. I think that Stecco would check in on the captain at this point before making a final decision about a secondary mission. So she would tap her comm badge.
Yep, call up to the ship, and Dorothy answers, and she says, Stecco, how are things going down there? Hopefully great, because Captain is in sick bay.
Okay, he's in sick bay.
Mm-hmm.
How's his condition?
Not great. I estimate you maybe have about 97 minutes.
Okay, so we're gonna skip the side quest then.
Well, no, if you're paying attention, I'm basically giving you like a definite 90-minute window, but then you have the 7 minutes where, if you remember the start of the episode, you don't have time to test it.
I don't think in character she would cut it that close is the problem.
I see the disconnect. Yeah,
there's not a step change for that to make sense for her.
I mean, we can retcon a little bit here. Maybe say it's more like 120 or 150 if that would change anything.
Okay. Dorothy, we've got the proteins we need to synthesize a treatment. Razib is working on it remotely here in the shuttle. There is a power signature on the planet we're going to investigate. There is potential that there are life forms that might need help. We should make it back in time.
Excellent. I'll tell the rest of the crew.
Thank you. Any other updates?
Not ones that can wait, or not ones that can't wait. I'll let you know at a later time.
Thank you. If anything else happens, feel free to reach out directly, immediately.
Will do, Commander. Euthenia out. So, power signature? Power signature?
Yeah.
All right. So, Varel, with you flying around, and
Mhm.
let me see. Oh, that's what you meant. I got you, Aaron. Okay. As you're going to investigate this power signature, you guys more or less. I'm trying to remember the actual name of the place in real life, but those of you that have watched James Bond's GoldenEye, you know that big like radar dish.
Oh, the dish.
The big dish thing.
The cradle.
The cradle thing where it's kind of like a scooped out bowl with like a telescopic sort of gantry over the bowl, which I think, unfortunately, I think it collapsed or something, and it's gone now. But
it's not functional.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's not functional anymore. But anyway, this large metallic structure comes almost suddenly out of the surrounding jungle, where you're flying over trees one moment, and then the next you're over this giant dish. And as you're kind of flying over the dish, you see that there's what appears to be a landing bay opening up for you actively, as in it wasn't open to begin with and now is opening, but it is opening up to permit you entryway. And Stetco, just so you know, you do get a message from Dorothy that does say command codes have been transferred to you at this moment.
Okay.
Commander, somebody left a barn door open for us.
All right. Razib,
It's muted.
you're muted.
As is tradition.
He's mouthing words wildly.
Yeah, it's Commander.
Keep working. We're gonna go check this out, and we'll report back.
Oh, yes, this is going to make an amazing paper. I can't wait to send it back to Starfleet Medical. Once we get their evaluation on this, it's going to be critical.
Good. Keep working. All right, let's go. So she's gonna be first out the door, and her mission here is to determine if there is anybody that needs help.
Just finishing up token work here, and boop. This is the space you emerge into. So once you've landed the escort and you take a step outside, what you're immediately treated to is the equivalent of almost like an engine room. There is a large metallic ball of energy that is sparking and actively feeding into power conduits in the center of the room. To the walls, there's what are the equivalent of EPS conduits, things taking the power from the core and leading it to the rest of the facility. But what you notice is the walls are lined with basically life support tubes or cryo tubes, however you want to flavor it. But you see the forms of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, because this place just stretches on and on and on. There's a lot of frozen aliens here.
GM, as an engineer, I'm mechanically curious about this. I'd like to get some readings and see if their cryo technology is as efficient or more efficient than Federation technology.
Give me an insight engineering difficulty of 3. As a reminder, you do have 4 momentum. And this does count as an activation, so you could give him a focus, a value, a talent, etc.
You know what? Yeah, let's give him. I'll give him a value so that I can use determination with him. Let's think of a value to give him. Let's see.
Yeah, what value are you thinking of?
I'm going to give him the value in all caps. I have to know how it works.
You know how it works? All right, good value.
And yeah, we'll use that. And you said that's insight engineering?
Insight engineering.
Perfect. And I'm going to spend 2 momentum for an extra D.
All right, brings you down to 2 momentum. And you get that momentum. You get 1 of the momentum back, so you're up to 3. So, Varel, you are able to detect that their cryo units, 100 years ahead of Starfleet cryogenic and stasis technology.
Cool. And how, based on their current power supply, how long can they sustain themselves?
500
Is it like
years, give or take a century, or give or take a decade.
And yeah, I think everybody will just sort of see Varel go to just incredible. Commander, these stasis pods are at least a century ahead of anything that we have. They can sustain operation for half a millennium. Unabated, fully powered, with next to no maintenance. Scratch that, no maintenance at all. None. Just
I wonder how long they've been active now here.
And is there any indication as to when they're intended to be reactivated?
if there's a control room or a central computer, it may have that information. Some sort of log.
Like, what if you give me 2 momentum to create the advantage? We can say that there's a very handy terminal that you notice on the wall nearby.
Let's do it, because I'm extremely curious about these people.
Sure. So I don't think it's interesting to do the whole alien language thing. I think the universal translator is just going to work for once. Here's what you learn. You learn that the awakening process is designed to start in approximately 322 years, and that they have been in cryosleep for about 455, give or take a few.
Is that before or after the Bergeron?
That would be
Decimated.
after. So, as was initially suspected, they are quote-unquote survivors of the genocide.
So this is I suppose, a seed world to restart their species.
Well, time is of the essence for our own crew. I see no reason to disturb them here. It appears their genesis worked.
Indeed, but there could be a remarkable opportunity to learn and perhaps advance our own technology, Commander. I'd like to request permission to stay.
We can revisit this, but right now it's imperative that we get back to treat the captain.
Aye, sir.
All right.
Before we
So-
go,
Yeah, go ahead.
DM, could I just make a quick sensor scan of the tubes and the power systems associated with them?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd like to try to ascertain the cause of the dampening field that we have encountered, to see if that's intentional or if it's a result of some kind of malfunction.
Give me your own insight engineering. Actually, I'd say for you, it could even be an insight security. Difficulty of 0.
Okay.
Because again, you know these people, or at least your species knows these people. So.
Mhm.
And I'm going to say no, focus.
All right, you get 2 momentum. Vizeth, what I would tell you is that the dampening field is actually this species' attempt to mask themselves from the Vergeron. And it's apparently has worked because the Vergeron haven't noticed them. So it is very much an intentional thing. It's not a byproduct.
Then could I spend, if it's okay with the group, 1 momentum to ask you the question, do I believe, based on the readings I've received of the dampening field, that it will continue to function as long as the cryostasis tubes will?
I would say based on what you're looking at, as long as this facility continues to function as it should, the dampening field will continue almost indefinitely. Meaning that they will be shielded, supposedly, for however long they choose to persist on this planet.
Then Vizeth will make a note of that in the log that he will prepare and record the sensor readings, but he's not going to say anything and will just follow the commander up.
So, and before she goes, no one can find any reason for us to interfere. There's no imperative here. You're muted, Aaron.
They aren't in any danger, Commander. Not that I can see.
Nor I.
Just Saras.
simply shakes his head.
All right. Well, we can do a more in-depth analysis with our reports after we treat the captain. Let's get out of here.
So, back up onto the ship. We're not going to play through that entire scene again, but we are still kind of cutting it to the wire, as we said at the beginning of the episode. Williams, at this point, you've deteriorated to the point where you're just fluttering on the edge of consciousness. You're vaguely aware of Razib and Stetko bickering, and as Stetko points the phaser at Razib at this point, I think, some of the nurses and the orderlies are going to try and step in, but when they see Stetko is pointing a phaser at Razib, they're going to kind of warily, waiting for an opportunity, but it is Stetko and Razib's show at this point.
Andrew, this is very unorthodox.
Trust me.
Question, ELH. Since the command codes have been given to Stetko, does that mean that Stetko is now the captain pro tempore and can use the captain's ability to give their determination?
Sure.
Hey, Game Master, can I bend the rules to my favor?
Yeah.
I mean, she's also the first officer. They can kind of do that too.
Do they have that?
They have a different spend with determination, but yeah.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, the first officer can spend determination to put in 3 momentum, I think is what it is.
That's it. Yeah. I never, whenever I ran it, I never had a dedicated first officer. So.
She also just technically tapped one of her values, which is trust me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's helpful, but that's
it's good to know. It's good
correlation to her sheet. So
a little bit of backstory. Razib and Stetko served in the same unit a couple of times during the Klingon War about a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
And as part of that unit, they became very cohesive, and every once in a while they would have some really random idea and they just look at the other one and go, trust me. And as a unit, we went along with it, and it usually ended up pretty okay. So you see, as Stetko says, trust me, Razib's eyes, which have been reduced to pinpoints of this manic moment trying to put this cure together in this limited amount of time, and he's still sort of covered in Tyranna shark sludge. You see that his eyes dilate slightly, and he sort of relaxes into the hypo spray as he I guess I'm borrowing that determination that I monkeyed out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go emergency medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And got 2 momentum.
Which you could spend to roll that 3rd die and then give me 3 threat to roll 4 dice total.
Okay. I'll do that.
And what I'm going to say is that I'm going to spend
medicine?
my threat to make a complication range 16 to 20. But you're looking at 5 successes you need on the board here. You have 2 already.
Is it daring medicine?
It is daring medicine. You've anticipated my move here.
That's amazing, because my daring medicine score is 16.
Which means you could technically still succeed and roll a complication. Yep.
I love it.
here's for the
All right. I also quick study. I'm attempting an unfamiliar medical procedure.
I've accounted for that. It was a 6. It's only a 5 now.
I love it when that happens. The DM's like, didn't account for that, but I'm gonna account for it right now.
No, I legitimately, the moment I remembered you had quick study, I'm like, yeah, I gotta raise the difficulty.
Perfect. So I have 4 dice.
Yep, 4 dice.
And a focus. All right, big money. Put your bets in.
No.
All right, well, let's check. That's 1 complication. All right, so it's a success. That is 7 successes with a complication. So here's what I'm going to say here. And this might be something we have to talk about offline.
Reroll
But,
the complication.
what's
you
up?
spent threat, didn't you? You spent threat. You can re-roll it. Don't you have bold
re-roll
medicine?
it? That is true. You do have bold medicine.
Re-roll that. Re-roll it, maybe. Re-roll it.
I'm gonna re-roll it. Let's go
re-roll
for
that
a better complication.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, no complication indeed. So, all right, that idea is going to have to wait till later, and that's fine. But
YOLO!
you inject Williams, and Williams, I mean, you've seen Pulp Fiction. You know when they jab the needle into the girl's chest and she... Yeah, same thing happens to you.
Okay. Yeah, Stecco would be there next to him, kind of like bracing him if he needed it.
Razib's going to put another hand on his chest and just push him back down. Welcome back to the land of the seeing, Captain.
Doctor, you smell terrible.
You should have seen what we had to do.
I think
For
the
you.
exterior cameras on the ship got it. Ugh. What is this? Anyway, you won't believe what your first officer did. Made me practice a completely untested cure on you. There's so much research and support and reasoning has to be conducted. We needed the entire Starfleet security. We need medical to look at the reports, see if they can duplicate the findings. It's insane what you made me do.
Doctor.
Yes, Captain.
A couple of corrections here. Technically, at this moment, Commander Stetko is captain of the Euthenia. And 2, this far away from the Alpha Quadrant, you are Starfleet Medical.
Well, if I'm Starfleet Metal, there's going to need to be changes here. You have no idea how just willy-nilly all of these nurses are just moving chemicals across the stage without any kind of paperwork. It's maddening.
We should disperse the treatment to the rest of the crew. Razib.
Right. I will get the synthesizers on producing more of this right away. Captain. Sir. Stedco, command captain.
All right. So, obviously the cure is transmitted throughout the ship. Everybody is saved. We have the happy ending. But before we end, I know a few people had some requests for scenes. So why don't we start with Sir Russ? Then I know Vizeth, you had one. I don't know. Did I misread? I thought you had one, Wolf. Did you have one? No? Okay. I guess we'll start with Vizeth then. Where did it remind me who it was you wanted to meet, and where do you want to meet him?
I was hoping to meet with Razib, but I guess that would depend on the location in which I could find him after he was finished with the dissemination of the cure.
That's a good question. Where would we find Razib? After all has been said and done and everything is quote-unquote out of crisis mode, where would Razib be hanging out?
Razib would be in one of the mess halls.
Okay. Officers or just the big one?
The officers' mess.
Okay. So we return to the officers' lounge, and yeah, you sort of walk in Vizeth into the officers' lounge, and you see that, I mean, there's a few other officers on or off duty that are here, but you beeline for Major Razib once you see him. I don't know, do Adosians sit?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess sitting at a table.
And you'll see that he has an assortment of hypo sprays, and he is scanning himself and using the readouts on the pad to organize the hypo sprays.
Or he actually makes it halfway to Razib. Vizeth is actually going to come up short and then turn over to one of the replicators and order the same alcoholic beverage that was provided to him by the captain in their meeting roughly a few weeks ago, I suppose.
Is that not a Moscow Mule?
I don't recall what it was, actually.
Aaron?
Your guess is as good as mine.
It's Moscow Mule.
There we go. Okay. So you'll order the Moscow Mule, whatever that is, withdraw it from the replicator, look over at Razib, and then steel himself slightly and approach.
Mr. Vizeth.
May I sit?
Please. Just going over final treatment.
Thank you. And he'll take a seat rather stiffly, placing the drink between them. Are you busy? Is there anything with which I can assist you?
Oh, no, not at all. Is this one of those small talk moments?
Not precisely, Doctor. You have been of great assistance to me in my attempts to at least become acclimatized to the environment on board this vessel.
Thank you for the compliment.
It is merely a fact, not necessarily a compliment.
Oh,
This, however, is. Your work on the planet today was exemplary.
thank you. Not every day one gets to cut up a xenomorph on an alien world. I found
True.
it most exhilarating.
However, that was not the subject to which I was referring. Instead, it was the assault by the creatures on the planet.
The hypersonic pulse?
An innovative stratagem.
Ah. I simply determined that they must have some kind of hearing sensing organ, and by overstimulating it, we might be able to drive them off. And it was a calculated gambit that worked.
It was a gambit that required innovation, intuition. These are things that I seem to lack.
If you would like, I would be happy to mentor you in such ways as I can.
My species believed that we had exterminated this race, and yet they escaped us through guile and wit. Well, life found a way. They survived. In this moment, you overcame a situation that I could not. I would appreciate your mentorship, Doctor. I realize that for all our abilities, my species and I have been outwitted on numerous occasions.
Wish to improve the tactics you use in order to outsmart those who may have outsmarted you.
It is a matter of professional pride.
I can respect that.
Then, Doctor, it is respect that is mutual.
What are you drinking?
I believe it is a Moscow Mule. Commander Stetko informs me that to imbibe alcoholic beverages is a sign of trust among friends.
This is true. It denotes a degree of comfort with those you are around. Should one become inebriated, one's compatriots may facilitate your removal from the situation before you embarrass or hurt yourself or others.
It is purely, of course, an affectation on my part, designed to elicit a favorable response from you, as it is highly unlikely that I would become drunk from even 5 or 10 of these mules.
Hey, Vizeth. Fitness, security, difficulty of 3.
Here's all that threat we spent.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Can I sell you on physical enhancement so that the artificial systems within my body are activating in order to burn off the alcohol?
I mean, that would lower you, what, difficulty 2? Forget the actual wording on the...
It would give me an extra die.
I'll give you the extra die, yeah.
Okay, so fitness, security.
Difficulty of 3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do this. Biology, because this is,
Yes.
it's influencing my biology. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Carry on. It's got a bit of a kick to it, though.
That's highly unpleasant.
Should you ever endeavor to want to experience such things, I am sure that we can develop some kind of concoction that would test those limits for you. And then you would be aware of them in the future should you be encumbered by them at some point.
One learning experience at a time, I think, Doctor.
Of course. I'm going to add an hour to my schedule so that we might continue this facilitation on a daily basis at first.
I appreciate you taking the time, Doctor. I know that I don't require very much sleep, but... And he gives some kind of bizarre facial expression that you can't really read. And then he says, but of course, inferior species such as yourself do.
I will take that like a champ. It's a colloquialism humans take when they have been, I guess the word is insulted. It's part of my own facilitation in being in large crowds of non-Edosians.
It'd be rather difficult for you, assimilating into this environment.
It was at first. However, 10 years in counting, I believe that I have learned to mask the appropriate responses. However, you may find that the Tellarites on board are quite amenable when it comes to relieving the masks one must wear to feel like one fits in and not disturb the crew.
There is a purpose to pretense, Doctor.
Oh?
Emotions are unseemly things.
Is it such the case that you wish to avoid emotional affectation or endure?
Yes.
Perfect. One might say, if you do not know what the limits of your emotional expressions are, how can you face them appropriately in the proper situations?
I am less concerned about facing them, Doctor, as I am about unveiling them. Emotions cripple one's responses. They make one act irrationally, and others can easily prey upon them.
Many degrees of notion that you have just prescribed there. One would be wise to teach you the emotion of how to take a joke and engage in banter, and learn how discreet that is from true insult of vulnerability.
Doctor, and he's actually going to just down the rest of his drink and stand. I believe that is something that I already understand.
Oh. Well, then we can go to chapter 4 in the book. That's excellent.
Doctor, I very much appreciate your time.
Cheers.
And raise the glass.
Zeth, after you make the cheer, the toast, and you depart, I'm going to say that Razib, you notice Dorothy materialize in Vizeth's wake, and then she kind of holds up a finger to her mouth, and you see that she's pinned a kick me sign on the back of Vizeth. And whether or not you choose to disclose that information, I leave to your discretion.
I'm just going to look at Dorothy and be like, you know, the Universal Translator doesn't do visuals, right?
I know.
So only people who can read whatever language that is. Oh, I better prep sickbay. Oh, God.
All right. Well, before we close off, Williams, Saras, Stetko, you guys have anything you want to cover?
No, I'm okay.
I'm good.
All right. Then that is where we'll draw the session to a close. So yeah, I did some thinking over break, and I think it's probably best if we have this be the season finale. And we're just going to come back in the new year with a new season, because otherwise we're going to start the new season like halfway through the new year, and it's going to be weird. But yeah, what did you guys think?
That was good. It was fun.
Yeah, I like the start at the end thing. That was fun. Thanks for indulging me.
Yeah, that was a really good idea.
I really like
Very
that.
well
That
performed.
was cool. I was thinking about it before the game. I was like, well, I have to be on like right away. Okay, I got this. It's gonna be good.
Yeah,
When
I
is
was
that?
like, I'm flustered just listening to you.
When does that mean we'll be coming back, LH?
If we can do the 4th, it would be the 4th. Otherwise, it would be the 11th.
I'm gonna be in Florida, but I'll bring my laptop with me. So tentative yes.
Tentative
And
yes.
I'll pack my outfit.
Okay. Yeah, we'll check in, make sure that everything's good streaming wise. But yeah, don't think I have much to say. So YouTube, this is where we're gonna say goodbye. But Twitch, stick around because we're gonna raid somebody. But YouTube, see you later.